Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your spiritual revolution guidance reading for the month of Cancer. So we are moving into the month of Cancer as of June 21st, and it goes until July 21st. And during this time, there are a few major transits. So June 29th is a huge day that we need to pay attention to. And that's because we have a full moon. So the full moon in Capricorn is on this day. We also have a Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is already in the pre-shadow period and is moving into a retrograde as of June 29th until July 23rd. And then we have also something else happening. Had a little bit of a brain fart there. Jupiter is moving into Leo on June 29th as well. So that is a very big day that we're going to want to pay attention to. And we also have the new moon in Cancer happening on July 14th. So mark your calendar for those days because those are going to be, some intensity, especially with this this Mercury retrograde happening in the sign of Cancer, because it tends to be a very emotional sign and an emotional time. And retrogrades in general are a time to really, take a step back and revisit, review what's been going on in your life. So I'm just getting the overarching energy for your reading. And I'm going to start with the chakra card. So what chakra is calling to you right now for some love and some energy? And we have the root chakra. So this card is about home. And you can see this little, I think it's an otter. He's sitting in a hammock, laying in a hammock, and he's feeling very secure and shelter, safety, nurturing, warmth. Those are the messages in this card. And I love this for this Cancer season, especially with the Mercury retrograde, because Aquarius, it's really asking you to think about what you do to nurture yourself and how you feel secure in your home, and to nurture that through this time. It feels like you've been going through this period where you're not sure where you belong, like if the place that you're in right now is really where you're meant to be, and you're actually looking to make some changes. There is what's coming through. So that's interesting. But what I would say is now is not the time to make changes. So when we go into a Mercury retrograde, this is a time to really just reflect and to consider the options, and not to make any big moves, but really, I would consider, what does home mean to you, and to really ground where you are and know that home is where the heart is. That's kind of what's coming through. And to pay attention to where you feel your best, because that is going to give you clues into where you're meant to be, because I do think a change is coming up. So the other cards for your overarching energy here are achievement, which is the sun in Capricorn. So hopefully you can see that. And then also discovery, Mercury in Sagittarius. Achievement and discovery. So for this next month, really, it feels like, you have been working very hard, and two things that are being drawn to my attention right now are this Mayan calendar on this one here, and this map of the world, of the realm. So these two circular energies that are sticking out to me tell me that you get into these cycles, but you have achieved so much in this year so far. And now is really the time to discover what means the most to you. Like, what is really driving you? Because you tend to, Aquarius, what's coming through is that you tend to go, achieve, on to the next, and you're not really celebrating these achievements. But what is driving this? Is this past conditioning? Is this a voice from the past, whether it's a mentor or your parents or a teacher or something like that, or even your inner voice that comes through that tells you no, you need to keep doing more and more and more, when really what I think that you're meant to be doing during this period, during Cancer season, is to sit in a place of discovery and really think about, what makes you happy and why you have this drive to achieve. Like, what is pushing that? And what can you do that's just more in alignment? Not to say that everything that you're doing is out of alignment. However, there are some things that it feels like are coming from an external voice or an external influence in your life rather than from within. And I think that this also really connects to your home. Is like, are you staying in a place because it's right, because it's aligned, or are you thinking about leaving because that's aligned, or are these external influences coming up in your life and telling you that either you need to stay or you need to make this move? So I think these are questions that you need to really consider during this Mercury retrograde, during this Cancer season, when you're thinking about, okay, what do I really need for nurturing in my life? Like, what makes me feel safe and warm and secure? Okay, so I'm going to dive into this a little bit more in detail, and then we'll get some final cards for you as well. So this is kind of like the background energy, and no surprise here, it's the Seven of Pentacles. So this is kind of everything I was talking about with this achievement. So like, this is just some confirmation. Seven of Pentacles is when you have been working, planting your garden, so to speak, and now is the time to harvest the fruits of your labor. So you have been working hard and you have been achieving all of these things, and now you kind of get to enjoy it. And that's what I really want you to do, is like to enjoy this next month. It's the summer. We've got the summer solstice coming. And now is the time to sit back, kick your feet up a little bit, relax, take some of the pressure off, because you've been under a lot of pressure. And again, coming back to that nurturing of yourself, like, enjoy it. Like, you can see in the card here that the witch, she is picking the fruit and she has her glass of wine, and that's like really an expression of what achievement means, right? Like, how can you even call it an achievement if you're not enjoying it, if you're just like moving on to the next phase and the next thing? And that's been your energy for a long time. You're really used to that. So I think that this is probably one of those cycles, one of those patterns that you need to break out of. And your current energy, so what you're really like embodying and the actions that are coming through, is the Seven of Wands. And so this is a really defensive position. And actually what I just noticed is Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, and then your outcome energy is Seven of Cups, 777. That is so lucky. Like, that is cha-ching, you've hit the jackpot. And I really think that that's how you should be feeling right now, is with all these achievements, is that you have hit the jackpot and there's so much to discover right now. However, what you're being put into is like this defensive position, I think, where you are feeling the need to defend everything that you have built, everything that you have grown. And you've put in so much hard work, so much effort into cultivating this life, into cultivating this environment, and I think in your work as well, where it feels like, this has really become so much of your identity, but things are shifting. And what I was talking about with this home card, with these changes that are coming up, things with your identity are shifting as well, and who you see yourself as and who you want to be going forward. But you're feeling like very defensive, like either you have to defend the person you were, or you need to defend the person that you are becoming, that you're growing into. And that feels really strongly to me right now for you, Aquarius. Because you are, Aquarius, you tend to be the outsider, the rebel. You march to the beat of your own drum anyhow. And that's something that has always been a part of your soul and your inner being. And people know that and love and appreciate that about you. However, you've been in this pattern. You've been in this place where you're like, achieve, 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 do, task gets done and move on. And it's this almost like robotic mode that you've been in, which also is very Aquarian, because Aquarius does rule technology and those kinds of things, but you're not a robot. You are not just an autonomous programmed being. You are very unique, and you have a lot of gifts, and you have a lot of talents that you want to share. But because you kind of put yourself in a box, let's put it that way, because you've kind of put yourself in this box, it's hard to break out of that and redefine yourself at this stage that you find yourself in. And so you're feeling very defensive. You're feeling like people might attack you or look at you differently. Like people might say things about you, and the reputation that you've had is going to change. And that may be, however, I believe it's always for the best. If you are on your path, which I truly believe that you are, then that means that nothing bad can come from the changes that you're about to make. And I just realized that I forgot to mention, like, what these readings are all about. Like the spiritual revolution guidance readings there's a spiritual war going on. You know that you've been called to be a part of this spiritual revolution. And that's why you're being called to make these changes. You know that these patterns and these cycles that you have been kind of just operating in no longer fit the role that you want to take in this world, because you're looking at the world differently. You see what's happening on the world stage and in your communities and in your governments and things like that, and you're saying enough is enough. Things need to change. I'm going to do things differently, and if people don't like it, good for them. Like, that's on them. But that is very scary, and there is a part of you, Aquarius, that is like, oh, can I do it? And I think this brings us to our outcome energy, which is the Seven of Cups. So Seven of Cups is really about making your choice. So the universe is presenting all of these options to you, all of these paths, these forks in the road that you can go down. And it's really up to you to choose the one that is going to align best with your highest good and for what you can do for the community and for humanity in general. And I believe that if you follow your intuition and you kind of turn off the internal dialogue and all the voices and the external factors and the judgments and everything that you feel like you need to be defensive about right now, that of course you're going to make the correct choice. And that's what this period of reflection and self-nurturing and introspection is about for you right now, Aquarius, because you are being presented with all of these options. And like I said, you have many talents, you have many gifts, you have all of these things that can be brought to the forefront. And all you need to do is choose which path. And if you decide later that, oh, that was not the wrong one, then you can make another choice in the future. However, I want to say that whatever choice that you make right now is going to be the right one, whether or not it's something you stick with or not, because at least there's going to be lessons or things that you're learning. You have learned so much, right? Like, when we look at everything that you have accomplished and everything that you have achieved and what you have done in your life to this point, and all the bounty that you are harvesting right now, you know, like that just goes to show that you can't make any wrong choices in your life, because you are in this transitional transformative stage right now. And that doesn't mean that everything that you've done in the past is worthless or wasn't aligned with your path. In fact, what that means is that you have been cultivating um, experience and abilities and resilience, which is going to carry you forward. So I'm really excited for you to like sit back and really, you know, think about your future for this next month. So let's get a message from the moon. Like I said, we've got this, the full moon coming up on the 29th of June. And then we have the new moon in Cancer on the 14th. And, you know, new moons are all about new beginnings and fresh starts. We just celebrated a new moon in Gemini. And interesting. Okay, so we have the new moon in Cancer coming up. However, the card that you got is the full moon in Cancer. And this one says a personal issue reaches resolution. So a personal issue reaches resolution. Whatever you've been going through, whatever has been holding you back, or you feel like has been on like I feel like tormenting is a really strong word, but there's been like this problem that's been on your mind and keeping you up at night. And I think that that's, you know, it's definitely related to the Seven of Wands, where you feel like you have to defend yourself and defend the choices that you want to make and the direction that you want to take. And however, this is going to be resolved for you. And I love that it's in Cancer. We are entering Cancer season. So this is definitely going to happen within this month, where you finally overcome this demon, so to speak. And congratulations. I'm super excited for you on that. And, you know, I wish you the best with that. But I know you don't need my wishes. You've got the universe behind your back. And let's see, we've got a final card here for you. Ashwagandha. Okay, purpose. Card number 54. So Aquarius, I love this card for you because ashwagandha is one of the top adaptogens. In what's an adaptogen? It is a plant, it's a herb that restores your body. It is very nourishing. It helps regulate your nervous system and bring you back to a state of balance and calm and peace from within. And purpose, this whole idea of finding your purpose, finding your home, being curious about your life and who you are and what you do, and being in a place of discovery, and being able to make a choice for the new direction that your path is going to take in order to truly find your purpose. I think that is definitely where you're at right now. And this has the North Node and the Moon. So the North Node is your destiny. The Moon is your intuition. Moon is ruled by Cancer. Sorry, Cancer is ruled by the Moon, you know. And but this also has the Sun and the Moon in the card, if you can see that. Okay. And that tells me that it's all about balance. Your purpose is about balance. Your everything that you're meant to be reflecting on and reviewing in your life and really thinking about and contemplating and pondering is about balance. Where are you feeling unbalanced in your life right now? Where can you bring balance back in so that you don't have to be so defensive? Like, I think the lesson from this card and the reason that it came up is because you don't owe anyone an explanation. I just want to put that out there and say that your choices and your decisions are your own. And the fact that you are growing and changing is a natural part of life. It's part of the spiritual journey and evolution. And you really don't owe anyone an explanation. If there are questions that come up and people are like, whoa, that seems so out of character for you. Or, they say like, well, you were never like that before, or where's the old Aquarius that I used to know? Doesn't matter. You do not have to defend yourself. You might feel the urge to be defensive, but I want you to come back to balance. I want you to restore your nervous system and your inner equilibrium so that you feel really confident with who you are and who you're becoming, because right now is a period of discovery. It's a period of curiosity, of going inward and reflecting as we experience this Mercury retrograde during the month of Cancer, and really think about what it means to nourish and nurture yourself from within so that you are able to really follow your path and your purpose and help people, because that's really what you're about. Aquarius is the humanitarian, yes, a very unique soul who marches to the beat of their own drum, but ultimately you love people and you want to help people and be like a really positive influence in the world. And that's where I see you going. The more true you are to yourself and your path, the more you're going to be able to be that genuine, authentic person who is able to help others. And I hope this resonated. Again, this is like a general reading. It's not a one-to-one reading. So, take what resonates, leave the rest. If you want to go deeper, let me know. Send me a message or an email. I do personal readings as well. And if you know an Aquarius and you think that this will resonate with someone, please share, like, subscribe, do the YouTube things. And thank you so much for being here with me this month. And I'll see you in the next one.